What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of PPPD Pigskin Posse Podcast with Tim and Ryan. As always, I'm Tim. That's Ryan. And shit, what can I say, man? The dark days are almost over, so we need everybody just hanging there. Another what 2.5 weeks, and we there, man. I don't give a fuck if it is preseason. I'm watching all of it.
No, I'm not. I'll watch the Hall of Fame games, but
I mean, you gotta watch. You gotta watch the pre, just to see how some of the guys look, the rookies and whatnot. I know it's just preseason, but it gives you a little bit of a, just a taste. It's football, so it just gets me through.
Yeah, I respect that, but no, I want to watch it with it means something. That's just my personal opinion on it.
I feel you. You want to watch it when you actually have expectations.
Exactly. It's like, okay, he bought out in preseason. Half these niggas not even gonna be here. So, I mean, it's nice to see and whatnot, but overall, I'm invested when it means something.
Right. The week one. That's when that's when all the emotions and shit really get involved. So
yep.
We almost there. Just said it there, but we ride it out. Just we almost there, y'all. Y'all just stick with us. We're gonna get you through this shit. First things first, we need to have a moment of silence, and we need to say rest in peace to DeAndre Hopkins' career, because that's pretty much where wide receivers go to Tennessee to fucking die. But in big news, DeAndre Hopkins signs a 2-year, $26 million deal with the Tennessee Titans. I think incentives are up to this deal can lead up to 32 million. I think it's the normal. If he makes the Pro Bowl, if he gets 1,000 yards, 100 catches, blase. I'm gonna let you attack this one first. I'm gonna let you go at this one first, bro. What do you think of this move?
I mean, it lets me know the Patriots was never willing to give him the money that he wanted.
Right.
It also lets me know that nobody out there in the NFL was willing to give him that. I think he wanted security. I don't think he just wanted a 1-year deal. So it tells me nobody in the NFL was willing to give him that security. And like, you went on a podcast and you talked about all these quarterbacks you wanted to work with, and then you picked Ryan Tannehill. So, I mean, get your money, bro.
Yep. That's how I feel. I mean, I'm happy he got the bag. I mean, and he just got paid a couple years ago from Arizona, so I really don't understand. I get it. You want to get paid. I don't really understand why, money was really an issue. But I agree with what you said. Like, bro, you went on a podcast and you wanted stability, which you didn't get that because Tennessee just revamped their whole fucking front office. You wanted a chance to win a ring, a chance to, compete for Super Bowl title. Tennessee's definitely not getting that. They ain't been a front runner last couple years. I mean, they've been in the playoffs, but we ain't never been able to, we haven't called them a front runner. And, you talked about wanting to play with a big name quarterback or help develop, a young quarterback that's, on the cusp of, being a superstar or whatever. You definitely don't fucking have that. I mean, if Tennessee has the biggest fucking quarterback problem out of any, I'm not going to say out of any team, but probably in like the top 5% of teams that have QB issues, they definitely got to be top 2 or 3.
That's a dumpster fire.
Yeah, plain and simple.
Total dumpster fire. I mean, I'm happy he's getting paid, but like, AJ Brown is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that tight end still there?
Jonnu Smith, no, he's gone too.
So yeah, he just 30 million.
Yeah. Right. I will say this though. Now, Tim Kelly is now the offensive coordinator in Tennessee, and now we've all said Tennessee's play call in the last few years has been fucking trash. Tim Kelly does know how to run an offense. I mean, he was the offensive coordinator and the QB coach for the years that DHop was there and when Deshaun was there. So I get that's another reason why DHop went there, because he's he's very familiar. DHop is very familiar with Tim Kelly. Also, those two young quarterbacks that Tennessee's made it very clear that they're done with Ryan Tannehill. They stuck with him last year because they had no choice. But at some point, Malik Willis or Will Levis is going to start at some point in this season. Now, Tim Kelly did have a lot to do with developing Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying Malik Willis or Will Levis is going to be Deshaun Watson. I'm not saying that at all, but Tim Kelly had a lot to do with that development. And I think with that type of offense he run, it definitely, I think it maybe favors Willis a little more than it favors Levis, but who knows, man? I just know DHop is very familiar in Tim Kelly's system. So I definitely think that had a lot to do with why he chose Tennessee.
I mean, it's probably gonna be a lot of screens, a lot of slants, a lot of go routes, a lot of curls. I mean, just to get them open, because if nobody else is catching passes, it's very easy. Put somebody underneath, over top. We're just gonna take this side of the field off.
Right.
So, I mean, the person I feel bad for in this whole situation is Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. On top of them not wanting to pay running backs, okay, I finally get a weapon that can help me, but I don't have a quarterback to get him the ball. I don't believe in nobody in that quarterback room in Tennessee.
I don't either. I really don't either. I definitely feel bad for Derrick Henry, but now they do got their other they do got that other guy, Traylon Burks, out of Arkansas that they got last year. He showed promise, but I'm not completely sold on him yet. And I mean, now they got DHop, so that gives them 2 wide receivers to work with, but it just constantly brings us back to the fucking the QB room. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Only time will tell. We shall see. It's gonna be a long season.
For Tennessee, yeah, grueling, painful 17 games.
Absolutely. And then we're gonna transition and touch on something that you was talking about, because we definitely got to talk about this. What is up with teams not wanting to pay fucking running backs? I don't get it. Like what? Like, I mean, I get now here's the thing, like with Saquon, I get it. He did have 2 years where he battled injuries, but we saw when he's healthy, we see what the fuck he's able to do. We saw what he was able to do last year, and we saw what he was able to do his rookie year. He balled out. Pay the man. Who the fuck else? I mean, who else y'all got at running back that y'all have the same? You can't sit here and tell me that there's anybody in that running back room that you have the same amount of confidence in that you have in Saquon Barkley. Plain and simple.
Well, the answer is nobody. But at the same time, it seems like every time teams make that long-term commitment, here comes all the injuries. Every time. And then the last time you had a Pro Bowl running back on a Super Bowl winning team was Marshawn Lynch when the Seattle won.
No, you had Todd Gurley too.
On the Super Bowl winning team?
Oh, Super Bowl winning team. Yeah, that's true.
It's been too many situations where teams pay a running back and then they get hurt and then they never produce again, or they get paid after they spend, like Steven Jackson, for instance. He did get paid by St. Louis, and then he finally left, and then got paid by Atlanta, and then he was a shell of himself. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's like they are paying running backs. It's just that they've lowered the number. Yeah. I mean, there's not too many Adrian Petersons walking around anymore.
Absolutely not.
So that's why. I mean, I feel bad for guys like Eckler and Derrick Henry, but I think one of the last running back that got paid buku and that Christian McCaffrey after Zeke.
No, it's Todd Gurley.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So that's why running backs aren't getting paid money, because it's been shown time and time again. Production, rather it's injuries or off the field issues or whatever the issue may be, is production dwindles, and then you just wasted all this money. So, I mean, then quarterbacks are scoring 21% of the rushing touchdowns now. We're shifting from the prototypical style quarterback to more dual threat now. So it's the playing field is changing right before our very eyes, and it won't be long before probably running backs catching more screen passes than actually running the ball in a minute. So that's why it sucks, because a lot of these dudes put in so much time and effort to their craft, make sure they're healthy, and then they finally get the opportunity to get paid, and it's only $40 million. What? And then I'm talking about $40 million like it's $40.
Right.
It's 40 fucking million.
I agree, and to piggyback off what you said, I mean, excuse me, I'm sorry. I definitely think it's a damn shame you had guys like Jacobs who, he had a career year on a contract year. Eckler had a pretty good year. Saquon, he had a major bounce back year. Like we kind of saw it coming, but we didn't at the same time. Derrick Henry and whatnot. It's like personally, I think they should stop waiting so long to pay these guys. If you got a running back that has, if he balls out his first 2 years, pay him. Don't wait till the rookie contract run out, because the shelf life for running backs, unless you're a guy like fucking Adrian Peterson or Frank Gore, the shelf life for running backs is what, 5 to 6 years. They have a good 5 to 6 years before they start hitting that
plateau,
when they start declining. So I personally think that a lot of these teams should stop waiting until these guys until their contract year runs out, until their rookie contract runs out before they decide to pay him. And then it's like, if you're a young guy, if you're a young running back, coming into the NFL, exactly how do you approach this? Because it's like, you want to ball out, you want to prove yourself, you want to, get the Pro Bowls and, the All Pro selections and stuff like that, so you can get paid. But you kind of see how they're treating you see how they're treating running backs now. So it's like, can I really give it my all? Do I really give it, do I really put my all and, all my time into this, just so, I can, I'm not getting to where I want to be. And that's ultimately, a long-term contract. I mean, hell, running backs, they take outside of offensive linemen, running backs take the most punishment, because there's a constant collision, whether you running into the offensive lineman, you getting hit by the fucking linebackers, or you getting smacked by defense, or getting smacked by defensive back. So, they do take a lot of damage. So I definitely feel like they deserve to get paid, especially guys like Saquon and Josh Jacobs, who, have bounce back years after teams are saying that, oh, they're not going to be with this, they're not going to be with this team next year. And another question is, who exactly can you blame for, this happening? Because I saw something on Twitter that was saying, oh, Sean McVay is to blame for the system that he runs. And personally, I say that's bullshit, because if you think about it, Todd Gurley's best 2 years was under Sean McVay. Shit, Todd Gurley had two of the best statistical seasons. Now, I'm not going to say the best, but two of the best statistical seasons by a running back under Sean McVay. So I don't really think you can blame him for that. Personally, I think the Chiefs, Andy Reid is to fucking blame. Because if you look at it, the Chiefs have had, the number one, they had the number one offense last year. They've had a top 5 offense the last few years. They've won 2 Super Bowls, and they ain't had 1,000-yard rush in the last couple years. So
running back by committee.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I guess you could blame it on bad offensive line play.
Yeah.
Because
teams are it seems like teams are leaning more towards pass blocking than run blocking.
Yeah. Or maybe you could just blame the running back themselves in the aspect of, a lot of times the injuries occur, it's not the first person, it's the second or third person coming to make that hit when running backs get hurt. So it's a mixture of everything. Like the game isn't power running, play action anymore. It's more so spread them out, throw the ball, catch them off guard with a run. So it's to me, it's the style of play and the wear and tear.
Yeah.
The wear and tear, the physicality of the position. Like, your mind is ready, but your body may not. You know, so
The body
not
breaks
to
down a
me,
lot quicker than the mind does.
not to me, 230-pound running backs who can move like a scat back. I mean, like that's just the reality of the situation. Either you want power or speed. Sometimes you get both, you keep it. I.e., Ty Gurley, Zeke when he was younger, Saquon. But there'll be somebody to pay Saquon.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. He'll get paid one way or the other. He'll definitely get paid one way or the other. I mean, but would you agree that you feel like teams should pay their running backs a little bit earlier?
No,
Why is that?
I don't feel that way because like you're an investment, right? So okay, you had a bomb ass 2 years. We pay you, a year early, 2 years early. That shit might go to your head, where you might not work out as more. Your work ethic might change, or you get paid and then you blow your fucking ACL next season.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's really like I said, running backs are not built the same. You are really taking a risk. Like, the only type of running backs I would, pay up front is guys like a Derrick Henry or Zeke or Saquon. That's it. That's it. Do it all, guys. They got the size, power, quickness. They can catch. They can block. Those kind of guys. I mean, I would throw in an Elkler too, maybe just because he's
he's a
so
Swiss Army knife. He
exactly,
can do it
and
all.
he knows how to use his size perfectly.
Yeah.
He's so low to the ground to where by the time you get to him, you got fucking grass in your face, man.
Yeah. He's
So
he's
yeah.
very quick and elusive. Yeah.
So with that being said, this might be the beginning of the end of the running back position, to be honest. But
Yeah.
you still have to run the ball to be successful. I just don't know if you're gonna do it traditionally, lining up in the backfield. Like I feel like eventually it'll be a way to where teams will run the ball effectively without necessarily a traditional running back. I don't know. I can't really see how that's gonna work out right now, but I feel like it's very possible.
I now that I can agree with you on. I mean, I feel like running backs are really gonna have to condition their bodies to do more in the game. I mean, because you can't just be it worked for Derrick Henry because he's so fucking big, but he's not a receiving back. But these days, you almost have to be a running back that can run, that can come out of the backfield and catch in order to, get the type of recognition that a lot of these, top tier guys have. And it sucks because they have to do so fucking much. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, with the way teams are scoring these days, and with the way the Chiefs, teams like the Chiefs and the Rams have been, because you got to think the last couple of Super Bowls have been won by throwing the ball, not by running the ball. So, with the way the game is going, and them, doing more to try to protect, them doing more to try to protect the running back. I mean, the quarterback. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could see the death of the running back position for about 5 years, because we know the position dependency changes every like 5 years.
Exactly.
So I mean, we might see the death of the running back for a while. It might be one or two guys that come on the scene and break the barrier, but I don't think it's gonna be a foregoing conclusion. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. How you feel about you heard some of the shit Brent Venables been saying?
Not really. I mean, I heard what Dion said, but I didn't hear nothing Brent said. What did Brent say? Let's touch on that.
Well, what Brent said in terms of what Dion is doing, he basically was like, "Look, I'm giving you 12 months versus flat out telling you you're not going to play here." And I mean, that's the difference between, I guess you would say, Dion and Brent,
Mm-hmm.
because Dion is trying to get as much talent as he can for this season because he knows he only going to have this quarterback for this year and next year, and it's over with.
Right.
Also, Brent is more so old school.
He's very
He's
old
been
school.
around college football a lot longer than Dion has. He has a different philosophy. So Brent is basically saying you get what you put in. So if you go you own class on time, you show up to practice, you give maximum effort, you get the grades, you do everything that's asked of you, there should be a spot for you if you put in the work. Then versus where Dion is saying, "Hey, look, you're not the kind of guy I want, and you only was here because y'all went 1-11 last year." And then to piggyback on that, where Brent brought up the what was it, the 45-3 against Florida State, talking about Miami.
Yeah.
OU and Miami are in bed, so to speak, with getting certain recruits, the same kind of player. So it was reported that Miami might have been throwing some salt on OU's name. So that's pretty much his counter pitch, I guess, in his recruiting. Then I spoke to a gentleman who has his own Miami page on YouTube, and I commented on his video because he brought up the fact that we got blown out 49-0 by Texas. Then that's very true. That happened, but we lost to your rival 42-45, and it was literally came down. If 3 plays would have went our way, we could have won, flipped the score.
Yep.
So you only put up 3 points against your rival, and yet you lose to Florida State, and then you lose to Middle Tennessee as well, which all time Miami is 0-3 against Middle Tennessee.
And I ain't never gonna let Will let that one. I'm a Will. If you see this, you ain't every time I see you, I ain't never gonna let you let that one down, bro. Never, ever.
I mean, OU almost lost to fucking Tulane. And Lincoln Riley lost to Tulane.
Michigan State lost to some questionable teams, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
So I mean, like, with that being said, it's just dirty macking. That's all it is. It's
Trash
just dirty
talk.
macking.
Playful trash. Yeah. Sportsmanship.
Yeah. So that's all it really was. But it was interesting for Brent to talk about Miami, because Will sent it to me. Your coach tripping, dog. So I'm like, all right, hold on. So I did my own research looking into it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I was talking shit first, and then he conveniently didn't reply back. So, okay.
My thing with that is, it's like, I mean, I get where Brent's coming from, because he has been beating the shit out of Miami for the last like 5 to 6 years. So he kind of has bragging rights over Miami. But I don't really feel like people can. I mean, he did the best he could in a bridge year. I mean, he inherited a team that was dismantled by their coach leaving, going to a different school, and taking all the guys that he recruited to come to fucking OU. So, he did what he could, and I mean, it wasn't the result that everybody was expecting, but it was it was a lot better than I feel like most coaches would have done.
I mean, this is the thing that people have to understand in college football. It is so hard to be a new head coach or a first year head coach in college football, depending on the program that you go to with the expectations that they have. So for Brent to bring in the recruits he's been able to bring in after having a 6-7 season,
absolutely,
and the recruiting that he's doing for the next recruiting class, as this is our last year in the Big 12, and we get ready to make our jump to going to the SEC. It's promising. I like it. I feel like OU has the potential to be a top contender in the SEC. It is not going to be in year one, which would be year 3 for Brent. So this might be like shades of Dabo when he got started at Clemson. Clemson went to Clemson overnight.
No,
it was a lot of steps, but like a lot of these programs today don't have that same amount of loyalty to where you can give a coach time to be able to build and make this machine go. So With that being said, I mean, it'd be a hell of a turnaround. Oh, you finished 9-3.
Yeah.
It'd be a
Playing
hell
for
of
a
a
Big 12 title. I can see it.
be a hell of a turnaround. But I feel like Jackson Arnold has all the tools to be successful. I don't think. I mean, put it to you this way: if Dylan goes out there and starts stinking it up like I know he can, Jackson Arnold will have an opportunity to make plays.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I think as I think we gonna see Jackson at some point because Dylan is. I've watched his highlights. I went back and watched his film at UCF. He's the same. He's literally the same fucking passer, same player. So Jackson Arnold will be starting at some point. And y'all been getting some good recruits for 2024. I hope they can stay there. So if they're smart, if Brent is smart, Jackson Arnold will be playing at some point in this season because I think he can do a lot more than Dylan can. And like you said, you fucking hate left-hand quarterbacks. So, and me being a part-time OU fan, I've seen enough of Dylan to know he's not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the answer. Plain and simple.
It is what it is, man. But I mean,
Damn, talking about this shit got me fucked. Come on, we need to get through this next month, man.
I can't wait.
I can't. Look, he said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna take a drink on that one." I would that first.
Yeah, I can't wait for next weekend, though, boy.
Yeah. Ooh. Hey, speaking of, we got to get. Speaking of next week, if we can, I want to get Breland on here. I want to knock out 2 episodes. Let's do a special episode. Let's do a special just MMA and boxing episode. We talk about the USC card. We gotta get his ass on the show.
All right, for sure. Yeah.
Another big news, another big topic. I couldn't wait to get you on the top. I've really been looking forward to talking about this. Before we get to talking about anything else, we have to address and talk about the Bradley Beal trade room. Not Bradley Beal, the Damian Lillard trade rumors. There's been a lot of rumbling now. Dame's pretty much made it clear that he wants, and he ain't come out and officially said he wants out of Portland. But he's throwing all the subliminal.
He requested a trade, my nigga.
Yeah,
that says he wants out of Portland.
Okay, well, yeah. So Dame Lillard has pretty much said he does not want to play for Portland anymore. The team that's been on his radar is the Miami Heat. Ryan, you're a way bigger basketball fan than I am. I mean, I love I've recently got back into my, getting back into basketball the last couple years. But Ryan, you're a basketball fan. What are you making of this whole situation?
All right. So according to Google, Dame signed a 4-year, $176,265,152 contract. He is currently in year 2, which is this year. This contract. He is expected to make an annual $45 million this year. Now, the moves Miami made, they lost half of their fucking bench in day 1 of free agency. So I'm feeling like they're freeing up players to be able to accommodate that
cap space.
But at the same time, Portland is asking for 2 first-rounders, I think 2 players, and something else. So it's like Dame will be moved. It just won't be this year. I feel like
probably
he'll have to sit, or they'll come, or Miami might give up too much to get him. But I mean, damn, if Jimmy has somebody that can go out there and drop 30 this year in the finals, Miami probably gets a championship this year.
And me personally, I don't want to see that shit.
James Worthy, a Laker great, near and dear to my heart, Showtime, running and gunning, Laker, said that LeBron wouldn't get a statue in Miami. Now, you look at the last 4 times Miami's made the finals, and then you look at the last 2 times Miami has won.
Yeah.
Who was there? Anyway, I would love to see Dame in Miami. I feel like it's a perfect fit. I feel like Dame fits the culture in terms of what they want to do. but they've already given up too much. And how do they recoup that same production that they had off their bench? Now, how do you feel about it, brother?
I mean, like you, hold on. Because as a Boston fan, I don't want to see that.
I know you don't.
I do. That is, I'm not. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of Porzingis, but even with Porzingis, I'm more confident in us this year than I was last year. But I do want to say,
all you got was Porzingis, and you lost Marcus Smart. You got first.
But I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. As good of a defender as Marcus Smart was, Derek White is a damn good defender. He came off the bench a lot. We still have two good guards in Brogdon and Derek White, and I'm kind of hoping they let that little dude J.D. Davison that we've been seeing in the D League, the G League the last couple years, and the Summer League. I'm kind of hoping they let him rock. He got potential. He got some serious fucking potential, but. Yeah, even as a Baltimore Celtics fan, I really don't see that. But as a basketball fan, yeah, I mean, bro, who the fuck wouldn't want to see Dame on a team like Miami? But we do have to point back to this. I know nobody likes Paul Pierce. I mean, as a Celtics fan, I kind of have to like him. Nobody likes any fucking thing that comes out of his mouth. But he did make a good point. Miami in the playoffs this year, especially in the finals. Miami had a chance this year because all their role players went the fuck off with Tyler Hero being out. Caleb Martin's not there no more. I think Max Strus not Caleb. Gabe Vincent ain't there no more. Max Strus ain't there no more. I think Caleb Martin might still be there, but Tyler Hero, he's still there. He's gonna start at something. He's gonna end if they want to get Dame, he's gonna be included in the trade package somehow. So
and that's like Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's where I'm going.
You gave up too much for KD. You gave up way too much for Bill. Now you're having to script and scramble, sign all these. I ain't gonna say no name because Bo, I feel like is a player has been discriminated against.
And I got my takes on that too.
For whatever reason, but that I mean, what does Miami have after that? Just Dame and Jimmy. So like. That's why I say I don't see it happening this year. They want too much. Like this is like when Melo wanted to go to the Knicks,
right?
When he was at the Nuggets, they wanted like 4, and then they did it too mid-season. They gave up like 4 fucking players. They gave up like 4 first rounders, and then that's why every time you watch the Knicks, Melo shooting the ball 30 fucking times, and then everybody else on the fucking team worth the fuck. And then Stoudemire just went to shit. After that year he had, then Melo got there. Yep. So you got to be sure this shit is going to work too. Like can they mesh?
Yeah, and you also got to think you're giving up a lot of draft picks. You're gonna give up Hero. You're gonna give up a couple more role players, which I don't know how many more fucking role players they got in Miami. But I mean, this can end up being just like you said. This can end up being just like the KD trade with Phoenix, where you have 2 ball dominant players that, need to score 35, 40 fucking points a game, and nobody else is giving them anything around them. So would I like to see Dame go to Miami? Yes, but do I think this makes them a title contender? Absolutely not. Because at some point, you're going to have to depend on your fucking bench. Bro, I'm telling you right now, if he goes to Miami and they run into a team like Milwaukee, because I still think Milwaukee is just as dangerous, with a fully healthy Giannis, they ain't fucking with Milwaukee. They're not fucking with Milwaukee. They may not beat us. Hell, I'm not taking them against a fucking Philly team.
For Giannis fell on his back, Miami was getting cleaned up pretty easily.
Yeah.
I watched the game, and then the shit just, excuse me, went the shit afterwards, like quickly.
Yeah. I mean, I've said the last couple of years, I would love to see Dame get out of, but he's not going to win shit at Portland. He's not. I mean, I would love to see him come to Boston, but he's kind of made it pretty clear. I'm not going to say nobody because we was able to get Porzingis, which, I mean, he's still decent. But he's pretty much made it clear he don't want to come to Boston, even though I think we have the draft capital to do it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But, yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see him get out of Portland, but I think this would be one of them situations to where it'll be just like the KD situation last year. KD kept talking about requesting a trade. I want to go somewhere. He's going to play. He's going to play the first half of the season in Portland, and then Portland's gonna surprise us and do him a favor and get him the fuck out of there. I don't know where he goes, but that's what I think is gonna end up happening.
But when you trade a player like Dame that's been there 11 years, that talked about loyalty, that talked about wanting to win a championship there, but then you let his help go away when he first got there, LaMarcus Aldridge. You let him bounce to San Antonio.
You trade
Then,
CJ.
then you let CJ. Then you trade CJ
Yeah.
to New Orleans. It's like, okay, y'all don't give a fuck about me.
Well, we
So
said
it's
that
like-
last year.
So it's like he got to do what's best for him, and they should do right by him and put him in a situation where he can win now. But it's a business, so you know how business goes.
Yep. I mean, wherever Dame goes, we'll all be watching. I mean, he's one of those players I would love to see get a ring. I mean, maybe not as much now because I don't know. It's kind of weird because I knew damn well he wasn't going to get one in Portland. I mean, I definitely want to see him get a ring, but it all depends on where he goes. If he go to Miami, fuck him. So because you as a Celtics, you better than anybody know there are two teams that I feel I have a very strong dislike for. Your fucking Lakers and the goddamn Miami Heat. Okay. And the thing with the Lakers is the two players I have the most respect for has now played for your fucking team. So there's that. There's that. All right. Let's transition back into some motherfucking pigskin because we got to talk one of my favorite motherfucking divisions. And before I say anything else, you know it's about you know what I'm about to do, don't you?
Nigga had to put on the fucking jersey. You better hope Najee stay healthy. We're just talking about running back.
Exactly what. But we got to discuss my favorite division, the motherfucking AFC North, which is, I don't give a fuck what nobody say, it's the best division in football. It's the best motherfucking division in football. You say what the fuck you want to say. First up,
Steelers fan.
yes, not just a Steel. I'm a Steelers super fan. I'm a goddamn super fan. I love the Steelers. I wouldn't move to Pittsburgh.
Eagle.
I wouldn't move to Pittsburgh. Would not move to anywhere in Pennsylvania. But I wouldn't even move to Philly. I go visit Philly because they're about an hour out from New York. But yeah. Anyway, jumping off into the AFC North. First up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals. Cincinnati Bengals finished up 12-4 last year. Key departures is they lost Samaje Perine at running back, their backup running back. They lose Hayden Hurst at tight end. They lose Trey Flowers at cornerback. They lose Von Bell, and they lose Von Bell as a defensive lineman, and they lose Jesse Bates at safety. Some of their key additions is they get Sidney Jones at cornerback. They get their biggest offseason acquisition in Orlando Brown at offensive tackle. They get Nick Scott at safety. They get Irv Smith at tight end, one of your guys, Cody Ford at offensive tackle, and they get Terrell Basham at defensive end. With all these departures and additions, what are you making? How do you feel the Bengals are gonna do next year? Like, what do you make of this team for next year?
Well, I mean,
for this upcoming year.
Let's hope and pray they got an offensive line. Y'all really playing with that man's ACL. It was crazy because Kirk Cousins was the most hit quarterback last year, but I think Joe Burrow was top 5 in that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I see them rocking and rolling, bro. They got their core pieces. Hopefully their defense gets a tad bit better. But yeah, they got a top 10 quarterback in the league. They got you said 5. All right. They got legitly 2 top 10 wide receivers in the league. So arguably top 5 tight end too. So sky's the limit. They still got my boy Mixon. They let Perine go, but that's all right. That's okay. Still Boomer Sooner in the house. But yeah, I don't really see any changes. Honestly, that they might be my pick to win the whole division.
I mean, you know, it hurts me to call Joe Burrow a top 5 quarterback, but you got to give credit where credit is due.
He said it, not me.
I can't stand the Bengals. I can't stand nobody in the fucking AFC North. You know this, but yeah, I mean, I got to give it to him. You know, he's the top 5 QB. I think it's gonna shock a lot of people when I say this, but this is me speaking as from a football standpoint, not from a Steelers fan, not from my standpoint as a Steelers fan, but as a football standpoint. I personally think the Bengals take a little bit of a back seat this year. I don't think they're gonna be as good. The offense is gonna be great. The offense is gonna be they're gonna be the Bengals that we've seen the last couple of years. But my biggest concern is the defense. Them losing Jesse Bates, them losing Trey Flowers and Von Bell. Those are guys that have been there, the last couple of years, and they've done well. They've got them, they got them to the Super Bowl, got them in the AFC Championship last year. So I think them losing those guys are going to be. I don't think that defense is. I don't think they're going to be that 2020 or 2019 Chiefs defense bad, but I don't think this defense is going to be as good as they were. Joe Burrow is definitely, he's always going to be in MVP talks, Offensive Player of the Year talks, Pro Bowl talks, and stuff like that. Jamar Chase is going to be Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is going to be T. Higgins, but he's the X factor because he's been the center of trade talks surrounding the Bengals this year. And I mean, Tyler Boyd, he's there, but I think his contract is expiring. Mixon was able to rework his contract because they were talking about if he wasn't, they were talking about moving him or just releasing him altogether. So there's a lot of this. I think there's
no loyalty at that position at all.
No, not at all. We talked about that early in the fucking episode. But I don't know. Like I don't think they're gonna be bad, but I don't think they're gonna be the Bengals that everybody thinks they are. My bold prediction: there's gonna be about 2 or 3 teams in the AFC with a winning record that's gonna miss the playoffs this year. It's unfortunate, but the AFC is gonna be that damn good, especially this fucking division. That's just my prediction. But yeah, man, I mean, I think they'll have offensive line with them adding Orlando Brown and Cody Ford. Because that's the offensive line is obviously their biggest fucking issue. But I think just they're gonna take a step back on defense, and they're gonna have one of those offenses that they're gonna have to score with people, which I definitely think they can. But I don't see them winning this division this year. I really don't. That's my bold take.
I think it can happen. I think it's possible. I think they have all the pieces in place, despite the departures. That's what the draft is for. That's what free agency is for. But I mean, I think your team goes as far as your quarterback goes. So I mean, if Joe's good, the team should be all right.
Yeah. Moving on to the Baltimore Ratbirds. I'm sorry, Baltimore. Did I say that? I said that. Did I say that?
Ratbirds, yeah.
Ratbirds.
Yeah,
fuck. I ain't said
it.
The Baltimore Vulture. No, I'm sorry. I'm just bullshit. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. They finished last year 10-7. Some key departures for them. They lose defensive end Calais Campbell. They lose guard Ben Powers. They lose offensive lineman Tristan Colon. They parted ways with Greg Roman, offensive coordinator Greg Roman, which they've been calling for him to leave for the last few fucking years. And I don't know we both have, even me as a Steelers fan. I'm as a Steelers fan, as much as I hate the Ravens, I love the Steelers and Ravens rivalry. Like I get excited just talking about it. Anybody can agree this is one of the best rivalries in sports. But they part ways with offensive coordinator Greg Roman. They lose Deshaun Jackson to retirement. He finally decided to retire this year. Some key additions this year, obviously, was a wide receiver, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr. They get Nelson Aguilar. They get a cornerback, Rocky Sin. They get offensive coordinator Todd Monken from Georgia, and their rookie wide receiver, Zay Flowers. With all these, with everything that's been going on offseason with the Ravens, what are you expecting them to do this year?
Nothing.
You really expecting that?
Nothing. I mean, like they might be the hottest team for like 6 or 7 weeks. I mean, if I'm going off literally the last 2 years, it starts off good. People start getting hurt. Lamar gets hurt. Season.
True.
So I
Same pattern.
mean, did they add anybody on the offensive line? Do we know what type of scheme they run on offense? Do we know how the defense is going to be with your anchor gone, Calais Campbell? Do we? I mean, like, what the fuck? I can't see it right now. I mean, but I'm a Lamar fan, so I want Lamar to do good. I'm never rooting against Lamar. I want him to do good, want him to succeed. I want to see him host the Lombardi Trophy 1 or 2 times. But if they haven't changed that offense to protect him from himself, I just don't see how they get better or how they even get back into the playoffs.
I actually think the complete opposite. I think the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to end up winning. I'm not going to say winning the North. I'm not going to say that, but I think the Ravens actually end up getting into the playoffs, and I think they have a really good year. And I think Lamar Jackson gets to back to MVP form. I love I love them leaving Greg Roman where the fuck because he wasn't doing nothing different. But I love them bringing in Todd Monken as offensive coordinator. Very creative, very creative mind as an offensive coordinator. And if you ask me, I think he fits Lamar as a play caller because he's a very, he runs a very run heavy system coming out of Georgia. So I think, especially with now, I'm not 100% OBJ is going to be the OBJ of old, but I think having, a veteran and a superstar
they need that
presence.
OBJ from the Super Bowl. They need the OBJ. They need that OBJ.
Yeah.
Possession guy. Keep the drive alive.
Well, I think them having a player of superstar caliber like OBJ, that type of figure in the locker room as a veteran, and it helped, the young guys like Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman, and he can maybe show them how to. I'm not gonna say show them how to be a professional because OBJ ain't always been the greatest professional himself. Speaking as a fan, somebody who's watched them, you said it, not me. But
I didn't say anything.
I think I really think the Ravens get back to being a dominant force in the NFL and especially in the AFC North. The biggest question is definitely going to be the defense because not the defense, the offensive line because they're losing Ben Powers, who's been there the last few years. He's been very vital to Lamar's success, and then them losing Orlando Brown a couple years ago. So the sky's the limit for this team. I mean, and especially with Lamar being paid, I think he may not play every game, but I don't think he does that shit where he sits out the last couple games of the season and ultimately cost them a fucking playoff, win in the playoffs. But yeah, man,
gotta secure that bag, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm expecting the Ravens to get back to their winning ways and being a dominant, being a team that people have to figure out how to fucking deal with eventually. And I even if I can't stand the fucking Ravens, can't stand them. I can't stand Lamar because he played for the fucking Ravens, but I'm a Lamar fan. I want to see him do good. Hell, if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, I can't believe I'm saying this shit. But if the Ravens make it to the Super Bowl, I'm a root for him simply because I would love to see Lamar get at least one.
He's gonna pop up. He's gonna pop up with an old ass Ravens.
Hey.
Yes, it's 05.
Hey, I ain't say all that. I didn't say all that. But I would root for Lamar to win just because I like Lamar. If it was anybody else, I wouldn't give a fuck. But if Lamar does make it to the Super Bowl, I'll root for him. I will root for the Ravens. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna say that much. I'm gonna be that nice.
Bullshit. Some bullshit.
I'm not putting on no. I ain't putting on no Raven shit. I'm sorry, can't do it.
I put on some Raven shit.
Can't do you put on what you can. I don't give a fuck. Me, can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, man. I gotta pick a new team, man. Go Braves. Keep done, man.
I thought you was a full-time Chiefs fan. Full Mahomes fan.
Yeah, but you gotta have those closet teams you like. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I pick Alabama to win every year, even though
you see what my closet team was. Just saying.
Whatever, nigga. You got like half the goddamn leagues. Your fucking closet team. Somebody get in the Super Bowl.
Three. Well, four. We'll leave it at
Rams,
that.
Eagles, Steelers,
Chiefs. Yeah, I can't wait to talk. We gonna get to them too. But next up, where we going. You know where we going, right? You know where we going.
Next up, throwing them picks, kid.
Yeah, fuck you. Next up, we have my Pittsburgh Steelers. My Pittsburgh Steelers. We were 9-8 last year. Matt Canada's fault. But we gotta talk about the 9-8 Pittsburgh Steelers from last year. Some key departures. We lose safety Terrell Edmonds. I'm still pissed off about that. We lose offensive lineman J.C. Hassenauer. We lose linebacker Devin Bush. We lose linebacker Robert Spillane. We lose cornerback Cameron Sutton, and we lose linebacker Miles Jack. Some key additions. We bring in a guard in Nate Herbig. We bring in a veteran quarterback Patrick Peterson, linebacker Cole Holcomb, cornerback Chandon Sullivan, linebacker Marcus Golden, offensive lineman Isaac Suamalo, played for the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles last year.
That motherfucker went 45 minutes away.
We trade for veteran wide receiver Allen Robinson. We get linebacker Elandon Roberts, and one of my favorite picks in the draft. We get son of legendary linebacker Joey Porter. We get his son Joey Porter Jr. at cornerback. I'm gonna take this one first because it's my Steelers, but honestly, I'm expecting us to have a much better year than we did last year. I'm not sitting up here coming out, we're gonna win the Super Bowl or anything like that. We're gonna have a much better year than we did last year. I think they take the reins and the ropes off of Kenny, really let him, sling the fucking ball. And I think we get to the playoffs next year. I'm confident. I'm confident in that. If y'all you gonna replay this clip whenever we do make the Super Bowl next year, just saying. But like last year, our biggest issue was obviously the fucking offensive line. We've been in fuck you. I see you. We went and made some, key additions on the offensive line to try to protect Kenny. This lets me know that Pittsburgh is all in on trying to keep Kenny protected. The biggest issue, I think, we had a top 10 defense last year. Defense is always good. I do love them bringing in Patrick Peterson. Regardless of what y'all say about him, he's gonna be a great vet. Him molding Joey Porter Jr. Pittsburgh, we're in for a better season. I'm gonna say that much. I just hope at some point they send Matt Cannon on his way. I have no confidence in his offensive play calling duties, none whatsoever.
That's why you guys aren't gonna do shit.
Fuck you.
That guy. Because of that guy. Because I'm sitting there like, why would you call that on 3rd and 5? Why would some of them play calls he had? I'm just like Jeff Levy, but sometimes you only call plays to your talent level.
Right.
So true. I don't know. I mean, fuck Pittsburgh. But seriously though, all jokes aside, I do see Kenny having a bit of a drop off than he did from his rookie year. Might have a little bit of that sophomore slump, but I do see a way where y'all might get that last wild card spot. It's probably gonna come down to week 18 for that to happen. I feel like one team is gonna run away with the lead in the division, but it's gonna be 2 teams fighting for that second playoff spot. I feel like that's how it's gonna go. Right now, I can tell you those 2 teams, but it might end up being Cleveland and Pittsburgh fighting for the other playoff spot. Y'all always end up finding a way to get receivers too, man. So, yeah. Whatever, man. We'll see. But fuck Pittsburgh, man. I've never gotten over. I've never gotten over that Super Bowl against the Cardinals, bro. And not because it was Kurt Warner and all that. Look, Holmes didn't have his feet.
He had his feet down, man. He had his feet down. Whether you like
every time I see that fucking replay, you see it clear as day, bro. You see it clear as day, bro.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw a foot go down. Yeah, I saw a foot go down.
Sure you don't. Nigga, do you know that would have changed the whole trajectory, nigga? Like, small market teams would have had so much confidence in drafts.
Yeah. I agree.
All right, man. I mean, hats off to y'all, I guess. We'll just have to see. I'm excited. This is that time of year you start getting the butterflies.
I'm definitely, you know me, I'm going to be in front of the TV every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, faithfully, screaming, yelling, cussing, having a fucking heart attack, knocking shit over, punching holes in the wall. Simply, because I love my Steelers. I can't help it. But I'm very optimistic about this season. Matt Canada, if you watching this, please, bro, open up the fucking playbook. Don't call that bullshit you was calling last year. Don't run a punk ass motherfucking wide receiver screen on 3rd and 13, and we're not getting nowhere with that. Leave that shit alone, okay? That's all I got to say about that. Moving on to the last and final team in this AFC North division, we have the Cleveland Browns, who finished 7-10 last year. They didn't really lose much. There are some key departures. They lose John Johnson at safety. They lose Jadeveon Clowney at defensive end, which really ain't saying much. They lose tight end Austin Hooper, and they lose defensive end Takaris McKinley. Some key additions: they get Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator, which I love that, by the way. They get a defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson. They get one of your guys, linebacker Ogbonnaya Onarakpo. They get safety Juan Thornhill. They get Elijah Moore in a trade, and they sign safety Rodney McLeod. Are you expecting to see a decline or increase in what you expecting to see better or worse than what we saw in Cleveland last year?
I'll say this: it's put up or shut up, Mr. Watson.
Yep.
I hope you called out all your receivers, gave them some gifts or some shit, paid for their vacation with their families and whatnot. Hope you guys really worked on them routes.
Yeah.
Because it's going to show. It's going to show that rust really, I mean, he didn't play for like, what, a year and a half?
Year and a half, like 2 years, pretty much.
2 years. So that rust really showed last
year and a half. Year and a half. You're right. Year and a half.
That rust really showed last season on simple throws. I feel like now that he's had a whole year with the offense, now that he'll be able to have better control of it. But let's put up or shut up. I couldn't tell you how I think it's going to play out. I think it's just going to. If anybody wants Deshaun to win, it's me. But I just don't know right now based off last year. But it's totally possible. He still has Amari Cooper. Juice went to the Saints. He still got my boy from Miami at tight end. So he still has key pieces to work with. I don't know why that just don't re-sign Kareem. I don't know what they're doing with that, but okay.
Once they said they paid Deshaun all that money, they can't afford to sign Kareem.
Convince him to sign a league minimum will take care of you in the back end, but that's the thing called loyalty, and in business, it's not really such a thing as loyalty. So there's that. So I mean, he has all the offensive pieces, but let's put up or shut up. If this don't work, coach getting fired.
And clearing house in the front office.
Yeah, GM gone too. So it's gonna be real nice. It's gonna be real nice, a real delicate situation up there in Cleveland. But no, I don't see them doing anything. Maybe. I just don't see it right now.
I definitely see personally. I see Cleveland being. I'm not gonna say a lot better, but I see them being better than they were last year. This is my thing with Cleveland and like the AFC North. The AFC North is loaded with talent this year. So it's two of these 4 teams are gonna end up missing a play. It's sad. It sucks. It's sad and it sucks. But I think that's the reality of it. I think two of these teams from the AFC North definitely get into the playoffs. As far as the Browns go, like you said, it's definitely put up or shut up. Everything this entire season is dependent on Deshaun. Plain and simple. I think the defense is in a good spot. They got the offensive. I feel like they got the offensive pieces around him. I like Amari Cooper. I like Elijah Moore. The offensive pieces are there for him to succeed. And plus, when that don't work, you got big ass Nick Chubb coming out the fucking backfield. So, and I like the defensive hire in Jim Schwartz. Everybody, if you pay attention to anything that Jim Schwartz has done, he's always had a pretty decent defense. So I don't know, man. I mean, I can see them finishing over 500, but with all the other skill, with all the talent and skill in the AFC North, I'm not sitting there saying they're gonna make the playoffs, but they're gonna have a good year. I think they're gonna be a pretty well balanced team because they have a quarterback that we know can pass the ball. so they won't have to lean so much on Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. And speaking of Kareem Hunt, like I said, they can't. I don't think they can re-sign to Kareem Hunt what he wants because all that money they paid Deshaun. So Cleveland is just, they're gonna take their, the lumps early on. That's why I'm so excited for preseason to kind of see where this team is. But once with this team, sky's the limit. But I think two of these four teams, as good as they're all gonna be, two of these four teams are gonna end up missing the playoffs. Plain and simple.
I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. And I feel like one of them is gonna have a completely fucked up record. And then the other one, they might be 9-8, 10-7, something like that. So
I can agree.
Yeah, it is one of the more exciting divisions in football.
Got me that much more excited for the season to start.
I feel like another AFC division is heating up, definitely for sure now, is the AFC East.
Yeah, we're gonna get to them next week. For sure. We ain't gonna spoil that. But man, we're not gonna stay up too late because it's late and both of us gotta get up for work in the morning. But as always, man, we thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate all the support, everybody that tunes in week in and week out to support us. All the new, followers and new supporters. We appreciate y'all as well. Make sure y'all, hit that like button. Make sure y'all subscribe and share.
Tell your friend about it. Send a link to somebody. We on YouTube.
We gonna soon to be the best damn podcast in St. Louis and soon to be one of the best damn podcasts in the world. We speaking that shit into existence. Plain and simple. But as always, man, go ahead, Ron. My bad.
Claim it, receive it, and you shall have it.
Believe, receive, and achieve. But as always, man, you guys have a great weekend. Be safe, drink responsibly, and we thank y'all for tuning in, and we'll see y'all again next week, man. Yeah. And Ryan, I'll be hollering at you in a minute, my brother.
All right, for sure.
All right, love you, bro.
Love you too, man.